Good morning, Sumit. It's great to have you here. Exciting times, just 2 days before we kick off GFF this year. Not just that, and Mumbai shaping up as a global fintech hub as we host the fifth session of GFF this year. As we talk about fintech, Sumit, the overall fintech story globally has been a exciting story in the last few years. Today we are clocking at about $300 billion of revenues globally, and we are projected that to grow to about $1.5 trillion in the next 5 years. Right? In India, we have estimated that about $200 billion in revenues to come from fintechs, and fintechs to contribute about 20% of all banking revenues in India. So this is a very exciting stage. The forum for fintechs is like absolutely amazing right now, and we will talk about digital banking, AI, and the way forward. Before we get into that, Sumit, maybe we can take a few moments to understand your journey on how you embarked on this exciting journey from Google to this, the exciting world of Fi.
Good morning, Tirtha. My pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. You know, yeah, it's you rightly said it's really interesting times and a lot of stuff happening, a lot of action going on around the fintech space. Talking about my journey, actually, if I take a step back, right, it's been 9, 10 years since I jumped into the foray of fintech, having conceptualized and built Google Pay, starting way back in 2015. Uh, since then, I think the fintech has sort of taken huge numbers. In 2019, as I was looking about what next to be done post Google Pay, the goal of Google Pay was to digitize payments in India, which we successfully did. And the next step was to digitize finances in India. And you may ask why, right? If you look at finances for an individual, even today, finance is not taught in school. Access to financial information is still pretty poor in India, which basically means that most people, when we have conversations, we talk about politics, we talk about cricket, we talk about Bollywood, but there's almost no discussion about finance. So, for an individual to gain and learn about finance, how to invest their money and how to understand their money is still a huge mystery. And we set out to this goal for demystification of finances and maximizing people's financial potential. And that really was sort of the next big step I wanted to do after having digitized payments in India. And hence the jump to five from Google, starting that way back in late 2019.
That's amazing. That's amazing, Sumit. And the timing, like you said, when you started and between now, right? There a lot has transpired in the Indian economy as well. I think Indian economy is at a inflection point in terms of digital, right?
Yes.
So the both on the retail side, customers like us, and on the SME side, it's just kicking off. There are about 50 crore plus digital banking customers in India today, and 2 to 3 million merchants who have gone online, right? So the opportunity is really ripe. Sumit, the next thing that we want to discuss with you is, where do you see India in this journey? What is the state of digital experience for customers in India? And how are uh, tech first, digital first players like yourself differentiating?
Uh, Great question. I think if you look at what does digital banking in India really mean, right? Digital banking in India means, not just having access to online channels like net banking, mobile apps, digital wallets, and so on. Digital banking really means when your entire banking experience is done digitally, right? And that means everything from onboarding of accounts to payments to changing your address, changing your phone number. Literally, your entire banking journey can be done fully digitally. Now, there are two really different things that are happening in the Indian segment. One, you have got banks like Kotak with their Kotak 811 product going and taking banking fully digitally end to end. And then there are other banks who, in partnership with other fintechs like us, providing a completely end to end digital solution. So Federal Bank, for example, partners with Fi to provide an end to end digital banking solution. And those are sort of the two different approaches that we are seeing in India, at least as respect to digital banks.
Absolutely, Sumit. That's very interesting. And Sumit, as we look at how maybe, if we take some inspiration from the global landscape and how things are shaping up in India and maybe try to chart out what's lying ahead. Players like, let's say, Revolut and Monzo globally, right? They started with one of the core products and now they have expanded into the full stack, right? Across payments, across current account, savings account, even wealth management and investments, right? Uh, I think yourself and the Indian players have embarked on that journey. How do you see that playing out, and what edge does it give you?
Yes, so I think if you take a look at what's happening, right, the Indian segment is very different from, say, the global segment when it comes to digital banking. It's almost good to sort of rewind back into history of Indian banking, right? From India's gone through, last 50 years of a ton of banking revolution, uh, from public sector banks to private sector banks to, if you move to the last 10, 15 years, to both small finance banks and payment banks. What's happening next is even more niche banking for niche services. And what that basically means is there are hundred of different use cases out there in India where you want to provide customized, personalized solutions out there. And where you see what's happening in sort of the Indian digital banking thing is different solutions coming out which are personalized for different segments. So, FI, for example, helps to focus on the salaried banking segment, and different other players focus on sort of different segments. And so that's really what's happening right now. In terms of differentiation that the players in India are providing, I think it comes down to few common principles, right? Um, Today, we may grow up in the same school, gone to the same college, worked in the same first job, but our financial habits could be very different. And your apps, your banking apps are same for yourself, your family members, your best friends, but your financial habits are very different. And that's really where the sort of the era of personalized banking, and now maybe moving to hyper personalized banking, is sort of the future. You're seeing a lot of work happening there. So differentiation is coming in terms of personalized banking. Differentiation is coming of giving fr- frictionless, seamless services across the entire banking era. You couldn't have imagined, 5 years or 10 years back, being able to go everything from change your phone number, change your address, to every single banking service, to get like a digital checkbook, everything done right on your mobile app. Right. So basically providing you the whole suite of banking services now on your palms. So you're seeing that as a second thing. And then the third is the level of customer service almost goes up couple notches up, where your experience, your entire journey is not just limited to the services you do, but if you run into any issues, that whole experience is taken care of with the tools and technology available today.
That's amazing, Sumit. Especially the angle of, like you said, that almost making it a segment of one, right? A unique experience for the customer. Uh,
Yes.
and I believe you are also foraying into the lending space now. So, how does the strengths that you have built, how does the experience that you have built over the customers that you have today, how does that position you to win in lending?
So I think today as I said, like different requirements are different for different people, right? And we talk about n equal to one banking, and then same applies to n equal to one lending. For us, for example, we provide TSP services for deposits, and we end up helping people in their personal finance management. Now, as we help people in their entire financial journey, we can help people as part of a financial hub, help them know how to sort of invest better, how to save more. And then when they still need, a requirement for some more money that they need to borrow, then that's really where a lending solution comes in, right? So helping to provide people contextual lending when they actually need it, and when there aren't options, and helping them not just help with loans, but help them provide better loans from wherever possible, right? We do act as sort of a lending service provider where we can actually provide them loans through bunch of regulated entities and help them get the best loan possible out there.
Absolutely, Sumit. And like you said, that now, how we have seen this play out globally is that you capture the entire life cycle of a customer across all his life stages. So you are inculcating good savings behavior, you are inculcating a savings habit, and when the customer needs it, you are also providing funds. So that, entirely it takes it's a full spectrum service. So I think that we also strongly believe that that is the way forward. And the next step maybe is investments. Who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah,
We actually already do that, right? As part of a group company, as a registered investment advisor, we already provide people with helping them through their investment journey.
absolutely. So with that, gives me a segue to the next set of questions around. We talk about, for a digital first experience, right? The role of technology and data is paramount, right?
Yes.
So how do you think about, and especially from your experience in Fi Now and even before when you were at Google Pay, how do you see technology and data uh, shape a seamless customer experience, and what steps are you taking in that direction today?
Great point, right? I think we are in a world today where, thanks to the account aggregator, data is being democratized, at least for financial institutions, right? So we know that the data is owned by the customer, and the customer can provide the consent to share their data to provide them with great services. So data is there. Technology has advanced exponentially in the last 10 years, right? So now when you combine the technology, and we can probably discuss technology a little bit later, so the technology and the data both being available, the amount of solutions that you can provide is just fantastic. The experience can be, almost what we would previously call as sci-fi, right? And if I sort of give you an example, and I touched about a few of those before, so I'll quickly sort of run over that. A seamless, frictionless experience where anything and everything can be done fully digitally. The security tools can be there where it can ensure that everything from authentication. We have seen that with UPI today, where even your authentication with your bank account can happen on third-party apps like GPay and PhonePay. The technology is there to provide you a seamless experience everywhere. Secondly, uh, you know, today when issues happen, previously you had to, identify issue, call in customer service. Today, technology happens to allow you to auto detect issues and auto tell the customer that what, an issue is happening with your account, we are working on it, and it will get resolved ASAP, right? So you're reversing what customer service used to be, where the customer used to reach out. Now actually the financial entities can reach out to the customer. That's what sort of data does there. Third, you're building tools that actually help people through their financial lives, especially when it comes to fintech, right? It helps them understand and demystify their finances, helps them maximize their investments and maximize their savings. This, while I'm not even talking about robo advisors here, right? Just being able to give them basics that people didn't understand. The few experts would have their data tracked in spreadsheets and in bunch of stuff of what's happening. But today, even some basic savings of how to save on taxes, how to understand what those taxes mean, how to understand their expenses becomes useful and very, very handy. And this is just the beginning. The next step for this is definitely providing them personalized guided investment journeys where you can, depending upon each user, their risk profile, can help them provide completely personalized services. The fifth, and I think this is sort of sort of an underused, especially in fintech where privacy and security is so critical. Data and technology today helps you to provide almost the next level of security and privacy out there, right? Today you don't need your developers to have access to production data or anything. It can be built completely securely. You can ensure that user is fully transparent and in control of their data, right? So it's not only just showing for it, but actually knowing where every piece of data that the user has with any entity, they know about it and can have control of it. If the user wants to get it deleted, it should be able to get deleted in a split second and not require like a month. And we can go on and on, but here are sort of some of the top ones.
So, if I have to summarize what you said over the last on how we are leveraging data, right, and on the how it is leading to how security is also playing a role in that, how consent is playing a role in that, is that the explosion of data over the last 1.5 years to 2 years, what it has enabled us is to be able to reach the right person, the right customer, at the
Yep.
right time with the right channel, like you said, whether it's robo advisors or a human being, right, with the right channel and with consent. you know
Yes,
so all the four, the convergence of the four being coming together is, I think, is what is creating the inflection point.
exactly.
So with we talk about data, and maybe we will take a couple of minutes to just understand what advancements do you see in the underlying technology stack that is enabling all this, and how at Fi do you think of the role of the underlying tech to enable this entire journey?
Yeah, I think a huge play today, right, is sort of the advent of, we talked about AI way back in, early 2000s when I went to grad school, right? It's been sort of 25 years since then. And now we have seen that AI has got democratized with Gen AI, right? So there is access to be done to a number of things. But even if I keep general AI aside for a bit, today a lot of things in the journey of tech can be built, right? There is cloud infrastructure where you can bring up and down sort of CPUs to ensure that you don't have to keep like 100 CPUs running if your traffic is not high. You can sort of monitor it, adjust it. You can monitor data in real time and ensure your services are running up and down. How well are they running? Is your performance going well? These are some of the basic things that tech has allowed. But if I just talk about AI, right, I talk about some of the examples in AI that actually Fi has sort of worked on. Uh, One and sort of the biggest thing is we help banks, in their KYC process, onboarding process. And so we do things like where we actually help people with tools like liveness and face match, where during the onboarding journey, that this is the real person you're talking to and is not like a photograph of somebody else that's being shown about, right? And then once you come into the app, we provide services which basically gives you your entire personalized financial experience as an assistant. So using neural networks and NLP, we actually allow people to ask any questions about their finances, and you can get the answer about that in literally milliseconds. So again, that's sort of the power of AI. Then another big thing which we talked about earlier was n equal to one personalization. That's not possible or was not possible 5 years back. It's possible out there with the advent and with the advances in the field of AI. The next one is fraud detection, right? As we have gone over the last everything becoming digital in India, especially payments, we've also seen the growth of fraud, right? People being spoofed or phished, spammed literally every day. And how do you detect that? And how do you detect that in real time and actually catch the bad guys and ensure, loss doesn't happen? Fraud detection, again, it's a great example of where AI has become very powerful.
Absolutely.
And now, if I sort of talk about Gen AI, that takes it to the sort of the robo advisory, the personalized experience that we were talking about, right? Come with the advent of Gen AI, literally every single thing from customer support to people's financial investments. Everything can happen in the such a detailed way that it's a fun, interesting next 3-5 years for us.
Absolutely, Sumit. And so it's very interesting the way you articulated, about AI and Gen AI. And the way we envisage this is that, it's almost like what we call as a AI convergence, right? So there is a left brain of the predictive AI, which helps you in underwriting, it helps you in fraud control, it helps you take decisions. And then there is a right brain Gen AI, which helps you hyper personalize. It helps you, create co-pilots. It helps you create customized messaging for collections. So the entire power unlock is really exponential right now as the two left and the right brains are converging. So it's really exciting times ahead for the entire financial services ecosystem in India.
Very true.
Sumit, this is great. I think we covered a lot of topics. As we now it's 2 days to GFF. I just wanted to hear from you on what your plans are.
This is a great GFF, a lot of great speakers coming in. I'm fortunate enough to, host a panel discussion with Sri Vaibhav Chaturvedi from RBI, Harsh from Lending Card, and Vibhav from One Card, talking about building trust and customer protection in digital lending and what sort of the role of technology and regulations for that. And that should be a great panel discussion with some of the best folks in the industry to understand both the view of the role that technology can play as well as regulation can play to build trust, which is so critical in each and every financial service in India.
Absolutely, Sumit. So, Sumit, as part of GFF, so we are launching our annual flagship report. We call it Building Bridges for the Next Decade of Finance. And interestingly, a lot of the topics that we discussed today, including the AI convergence, is something that we are establishing as part of the thought leadership as well. We'll share that with you very shortly. And I look forward to meeting you at GFF.
Yeah, excited, looking forward for it.
Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you.